Welcome to the TOA CX-1000 online training. In this online training, we will focus on the rack components launched in the first edition of products for the CX series. Let's start with the CX-1000 System Manager. The System Manager is basically the central intelligence of the CX system. In every CX system, a CX-1000 is required. Its primary job is to run your CX system, but it also has standalone features. For example, it provides system fault indication via LED and a buzzer warning. So, if there's a fault in any of the components of the system, it can be displayed at this central point. Additionally, there's an SD card slot, and this can be used to back up log files and setting data. In the unlikely event you encounter a hardware failure, you can transfer your settings from one CX-SM1000 to another via an SD card without the need to use your configuration software. The device also provides a web interface, so if you enter its IP address, you can monitor the system. But that's not all. The web interface can also help you adjust DSP settings, timer settings like pre-scheduled playback of audio files, and the management of the audio files themselves. Whether it's renaming them, changing the volume, or even replacing them, the web interface has you covered. Now, let's take a look at the front panel of the CX-SM1000 System Manager. On the left, we have the aforementioned SD card slot, which is protected by a rubber plug. To the right of this are your dip switches, which are also protected by a rubber plug. These are used for saving or uploading the configuration file and turning the buzzer warning on or off. In the event the device detects a fault, there's a fault acknowledgement key to make the buzzer stop, and also the status LED will stop flashing. If you want to reset the fault manually, you can do this with the fault reset key. You just need a small object about the size of a paperclip to press and reset the button, and you're good to go. On the right, you'll find your status LEDs, and below that is the device reset, which is executed the exact same way as the fault reset. Once again, use a small object about the size of a paperclip, which will press the button and restart the device. Now, let's take a look at the back of the CX-SM1000 System Manager, where we will discuss the local integration possibilities through analog connections. First, we have two control outputs. One is a relay output, and the other is an open collector. Both are connected with a removable terminal block. Moving on to the network ports, the CX-SM1000 features two RJ45 connections that can be set up for redundancy. The device can receive power in two different ways, via the DC 24-volt port with the optional AD246 AC adapter, or through the removable terminal block. Just ground the device and you're good to go. Finally, a cord clamp is included to neatly bundle and secure the connected cables, ensuring professional cable management. Now, let's discuss mounting options. There are three ways to mount the CX-SM1000. The first method is with the optional MB15B BK bracket. This method takes up half a rack space with the other half occupied by a blank panel. Another option is to mount two half-rack space devices together. It can be another CX-SM100 System Manager, another half-rack space device from the CX series, or even something like a TOA wireless microphone receiver. Just use the optional MB15BJ mounting bracket and you're good to go. The third option allows you to attach your CX-SM1000 to the wall using the optional YC850 bracket. It's also designed to be put on a desk with the provided plastic feet. Now, let's take a look at the CX PA1120 and 1240 power amplifiers. The 1120 is 120 watts and the 1240 is 240 watts. These CX PA amplifiers are basically compact PA systems. The only other required front-end piece of hardware is your CX-SM1000 System Manager. With the CX-PA, you basically have an entire PA system. You get an amplifier in either 120 or 240 watts, and then you can select between 100 or 70 volts. It comes with a power supply, and you can connect the amplifier to AC mains, and it comes with a speaker selector that allows you to have up to 10 zones. The front panel gives you a variety of operational controls, and you can also connect local analog source devices like microphones or media players. Now let's take a closer look at the front panel controls. First of all, we have 10 customizable direct keys or buttons with an LED indicator on each one. The function of these direct keys can be programmed with the CX software. For example, you could trigger a pre-recorded audio file. Below that, we have a volume control with their own LED indicators for local audio inputs and output for the speaker and a separate recording output. Next to those, there's a toggle for the CPU off function. When the toggle is set to CPU off, all the local audio inputs will be distributed to all outputs. To the right of that, we have the status LEDs, and below that, we have the device reset button. If you have knobs set to specific values and don't want them altered, there are provided covers that prevent tampering. Now let's look at the device to see the different integration possibilities. On the right, you can see the two analog inputs. Both have a selection between line and mic level. You can change these settings via the dip switches. You can also get more specific with the switches by selecting 0, -20, -40, and -60 dBV. Input 1 is exclusive in that you can turn on 24-volt phantom power. Both inputs are electronically balanced and can be connected via a removable terminal block. Next, we have our recording output. This puts out the same audio as the amplifier, but as a balanced line output. It's also connected via the removable terminal block. Moving on to the left side of the amplifier, here are our 10 speaker outputs. For these speaker outputs, there is a selector between 100 and 70 volts, which impacts all outputs. These are all connected via a removable terminal block. Now, let's take a closer look at the control connections. First, the input side. We have 10 no-voltage control inputs, which are connectable via removable terminal blocks. Next to that, you'll find a 24-volt DC cutoff control input. When activated through the software, this acts as an emergency cutoff function, which can be controlled by an external system. When the signal drops below 24 volts, both the speaker and recording outputs are muted. Once again, this input is connected by terminal block. Moving to the output section, we have 10 relay-controlled outputs. These outputs can be used for attenuator control, meaning if you have a high-priority announcement in, for example, speaker line 3, then control output 3 will also be triggered to bypass local attenuators. The function of these outputs can be assigned individually by the control software. These outputs are once again connected by terminal blocks. Now let's discuss networking. Just like the system manager, we have two redundant RJ45 connectors. Moving to the left is the AC power supply. And just like on the CX-1000, there are cord clamps for cable management. And just a reminder, this product needs to be properly grounded. Located on the control input section is the power feed jumper, or VCC, which is pre-installed. When this is removed, it disconnects the control inputs from the internal power source. This means that you have to connect an external power source for the control input. Below that, you have the pre-installed isolation jumper, or GND. When this is removed, it disconnects the control inputs from the power source ground. In most cases, you'll leave these jumpers intact, but every now and then you might get noise or hum over your audio lines if devices are connected via these control connections to other systems. This is an issue that is common on PA products in general. If you encounter such situations, removing the jumpers can alleviate these issues. Now let's talk about the mounting options of the CX-PA amplifiers. You can mount these two-space amplifiers in a standard rack with the optional MB25B. If you elect to mount these amplifiers in a rack, TOA recommends a 1U ventilated panel between units. If you decide to mount the amplifier to the wall, you need the optional YC850 bracket. For desktop placement, you can use the supplied plastic feet. Now, let's talk about the CX-AF1062 audio interface. The main purpose of this device is analog integration of external equipment. This equipment can be a microphone, a media player, a simple amplifier, or an entire PA system. This audio interface provides audio inputs and outputs, control inputs and outputs, and various controls at the front panel. Now, let's take a look at the back of the CX-1062. On the right, there are a total of 6 audio inputs. The first 3 can be switched between line and mic level and are transformer balanced. The other 3 are line level only and are electronically balanced. All of them are connected via terminal block. Moving to the left, we have 2 audio outputs. Both of them are balanced and connected via terminal block. Moving over to the control section, we have 10 control inputs and 10 control outputs. All use terminal block. The first 4 are relay outputs, and the other 6 are open collector outputs, and again, all of them connect via terminal block. Now, let's take a look at the front of this device. On the left, we have a mono input. When this input is in use, it will replace input 1 on the back of the device. Below that, we have some dip switches covered by a protective rubber plug. The dip switches are used for selection between mic and line level audio inputs. Next, we have 6 volume input and 2 volume output control knobs. These 10 direct keys are the same programmable buttons found on the CX-1000 amplifiers. To the right of that, we have status LEDs and a reset key for a device restart. And just like on the CX-1000 amplifiers, there are anti-tamper covers to keep your settings intact. Moving on to the back of the unit, we have redundant RJ45 ports. The device requires a 24-volt DC power supply like the optional AD246 or by another source via the terminal block. There are also 2 cord clamps for cable management. And don't forget to properly ground your device. Just like on the CX-1000 amplifiers, there is a pre-installed power feed jumper or VCC, as well as an isolation jumper or GND, which can be disconnected from the control inputs in the event of noise or humming incidents on the audio lines. This is a one-use size device, and if you want to rack mount it, you'll need to use the MB15B bracket. For wall mounting, you'll need the optional YC850, and for desktop placement, you'll use the supplied feet. Now to the final product of this training video, the CX-1016 Control I/O unit. The main purpose of this device is analog integration of external equipment, but this device is different in that it only focuses on control inputs and outputs. This device lacks operational controls on the front panel and instead only features LED indicators. Since contact connections are the sole purpose of this product, it provides 16 control inputs, and if you look closely at the numbers, you can see that not every one has its own COM port. There are in total 4 COM ports, and each one is shared among 4 control inputs at the terminal block. On the output section, we have 16 control relay outputs, and all of them are connected via terminal block. Moving to the front panel, we have 16 LEDs that show the status of each control output. To the right, we have our system status LEDs and our reset key for device restart. For networking, this device has only one RJ45 port. The device is powered by 24-volt DC with an optional AC adapter like the AD246 or via terminal block. It also features a cord clamp for cable management, and once again, don't forget to ground it. For rack mounting, you have 2 options with this 1U sized unit. Option 1 is using the optional MB15B-BK, including a blank panel, or using the MB15BJ to connect 2 compatible devices together. This could be another control interface, the system manager, or another TOA half-rack space product. Wall mounting is also possible using the optional YC850, and desktop placement is possible using the supplied plastic feet. Now you have an overview of the rack components of the CX-1000 family. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you at the next online training.